we've removed the carpet, I realised that in order to continue in there, I need to have a heat gun to soften up the glue to remove the soundproofing panels. So I've decided we're going to do some work in the boot instead. So we're going to remove the trim from the boot itself, we're going to remove the floor panels, see what we find underneath. So first of all, I've already cleared out a few bits while I was doing the preparation work. Next step is to remove the floor, which consists of 3 panels, and they simply lift out. They are, in my case, wood with some cloth stuck to them. Not in great condition, so I'll probably have to replace them with something else at some point. So this comes with, this actually screwed down with just some Phillips head screws. I've already undone them by the looks of it, so we're going to take this out. Oh, this definitely needs replacing. Wow. Yeah, that's done. That's done for. However, we're not going to throw anything away. We're going to keep everything until we've either replaced it with something new, or we're 100% sure we don't need it anymore. So next step is to remove the wheel itself. That's now 3 different types of rims I've got. Interesting. Right, so before we do the tank, I've decided we're going to remove a bit more of the padding inside and the trim work and all that. So first off, we're going to remove the side panels, and they're literally, well, they used to be stuck down with a bit of glue, but it seems my glue has seen better days. And I literally just pull it out like that. Again, we'll just keep that to use as a template in the future, possibly. Fuses. Alright, we'll just take this off, and then we should be able to pull these panels out. And they look to be just popped in with the typical self-poppers. I'm not sure what the official terminology for it is, but if you're nice and gentle, you can just pop them out. And there we go. So what I was saying is these little brackets here that pop themselves in and lock themselves. That's not too bad a condition. We might be able to use it again, at least refurb it or use it as a template. Same with this unit. Right then, so in order to remove the last pieces of trim, we'll have to remove the brackets that stop the trunk from popping up too far. So we're just going to undo the first one, and it looks like we need to actually remove the entire trunk assembly. Interesting. Right. Definitely can't recommend doing that. So I'm going to use a flat screwdriver just to pop this out enough. Whoa. Looks like some hard plastic of sorts. Vacuum formed. Yeah. Nah. Don't like it. And that is one way of removing the trim. Not sure it's the official way, but definitely got the job done. Right, next we're going to see if we can remove the antenna. So what I've done, again not sure if it's the official way, but again I've jammed a flat screwdriver in the mounting frame underneath it, and that seems to hold it in place. So right, that's out. Next step is to find out how we're going to remove that fuel tank. Right, so we've decided that we're going to, before we do the tank, because that's going to be quite a bit of a job, we're going to remove everything else that we can see in the trunk. So we've got the light that we saw earlier on when we removed the seats in the previous episode. That was the wiring came through. So we can see the light now. I'm going to use a Phillips screwdriver for that. Well, she is definitely not in the mood to come out, but we did it. So this is actually held in by some clamps at the top and the bottom. With a bit of wiggling, you'll get it out. We're going to remove the bits on top, so the actual fuel line. We're going to remove the sensor itself, the wiring, before we actually unscrew the fuel tank itself. So I'm not sure there's any fuel in it, but if we shake the car, I can't hear anything sloshing around. So there's a big chance there's actually an empty tank. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the garage door a bit just to make sure there's some fresh air in here, and then we're going to undo the wiring, we're going to undo the hose clips, and then see if we've got any fuel vapor coming out. Probably, but you know, we've got to start somewhere. There we go. So it turns out that they were held in place by two bolts, so one on either opposite ends. So hopefully that now means that the fuel tank itself is loose. Not a chance. Alright, back to the drawing board. So what I've done is I've put my little pallet card, whatever you want to call it, my little card underneath it, so in case it drops down. So what I'm doing is I'm removing all the bolts that hold the cover plate underneath the car in place. So it might drop the whole tank out, I'm not sure, but at least we've put something underneath it that will catch it and not have it landing on top of my head. So let's go and see if we can get this last bolt out. I don't think it's going to happen today. There's one above and one below as well, so we'll do that shortly. But at least now we've got the tank loose, so let's put our tools away and then we should be able to gently drop it down. Oh, so there is still fuel in it. That explains all the vapours. See, we've got something connected here still, which looks like a vent line. Can I just pull that off? That will come out with it. One fuel tank removed. Well, I think it's best if we drag this outside and get rid of it for now, and then we'll sort out what to do with the fuel that's in it later on. Right, so now that that's removed, we've got a nice clear workspace. I think the next step is to remove anything that can be damaged easily, so like rear tail lights and such. So we're going to remove those first. I've already removed the first box on the inside, and the other one is still there. So we'll start with the one on the right, which is a full assembly still. I'm just going to undo the screws. There we go. Right, I'll undo the wires. Again, mark them if you want to keep your wiring harness intact. I'm going to replace mine, so I'm just going to undo these, and that should lift off. There we go. So as you can see, there's another wire inside here. We'll take that off, which looks like a grounding wire. That's all the wires off. And there you go, one light bucket off. We'll put that away. And then we'll remove the outer side. So that has got a couple of M8 nuts holding it in place. So I'll get a ratchet, get that off. This is rubber that's gunged up completely, holding it in place. one set of lights out. We'll do the same on the other side. Voila, another one gone. And last but not least, we'll remove the fog light. We'll need a Phillips screwdriver for that. So that's now all the lights removed from the back. I'll show you in a minute that we have a bit of mental work to do here, a little bit of fabrication work to do, because we used to have an LPG installation in here, and the refuel probe for that was drilled in the back of the car. So I've got a nice big hole I need to cover up, need to fill again. Right, next step is probably to remove the wires, or at least pull them out to the left. So we'll start to unclip them. Just hang on the outside for now. So it's out of the way. The entire boot is now stripped. The only thing I've got left to do is remove the lock assembly and remove the bumper, which we can now access. I'll show you that in a minute. And remove the boot lid itself. Alright, so now we're going to remove the rear bumper, which is held in with a couple of bolts, which are mounted on these plates here. Hello there, little one. Yeah. He's hanging over there for now, similar to that one there. So just going to pop the one on the side of this end. Right, now we need to try and hold on to it without it dropping off, so we don't damage the car and the bumper itself, which didn't really go to plan, but that's the bumper now removed. Alright, let's see where we put him for now. Next up, we're going to remove the locking mechanism here. So first off, we're going to remove this retaining ring around it. At least we've loosened it enough now for the whole assembly to come off. We can take the outer ring off, and then we can pull out the lock to the outside. There we go. Right, so it is indeed a 10 up here, but the socket, I can't really reach it very well, so we're just going to use a ratchet. There we go. So now that's removed. We've got the badge. Someone has used a lot of sealant to hold that in place, but that's the one off. There we go, 2, and the rubber that goes with it. Right, so that's everything now removed from the boot. Last but not least will be the boot lid itself. I'm actually thinking of leaving it for a little bit longer because I don't have anywhere to store it just yet. I need to come up with a mechanism above the door that holds both the boot lid and the front bonnet in place. Will probably be like a hoisting kind of system. So we're going to leave it for now. What we'll do is we'll remove the fuel hose, and then I think we are done in the boot for now.